Rohan, good to speak to you. Just want to start by reflecting on that Saints game last week. It was a really grueling match. How do you assess it now, a few days afterwards?
I've moved past it, and we've moved past it. But earlier in the week, obviously, and over the weekend, it was it was bittersweet. There was a lot to like about it as a contest and as a battle and as a performance. We did a lot of good things, but didn't quite ice it when we had some opportunities. But the bravery, commitment, the spirit to fight through against such a well-experienced, great team. What we went through in that game to put ourselves in a position to win it was a good achievement, but we're not quite happy with not finishing it off. But overall, it was an unbelievable contest, spectacle. The crowd and the atmosphere of the game. I probably appreciated that more watching it back and hearing the sound on the footage was unbelievable, and that they, both sets of fans contributed to the spectacle it was.
I know you said you've moved past it now. Was it hard to pick the players up at the start of this week or over the weekend on the back of a result like that?
Every individual deals with it differently. I think a lot of our younger players played more minutes than they ever have in that forward unit. Particularly, they took themselves to a place they've never been before. So, within that, some were disappointed that they didn't get the 2 points, but also they were proud of, the challenge that they put themselves through and the opportunity they got. Training's been good. The energy and a lot of the early in the week was about getting moving and recovering and getting our energy back. But today, certainly plenty of energy in our session and looking forward to the next mission.
In that first half, you obviously lost Aidan, Harry and Morgan. What's the latest on their injuries?
Sam Walters also had a HIA in that chaos as well. Aidan Caesar's got a hamstring injury. He'll be 5 to 6 weeks sort of time span. Morgan Gannon has an ankle injury. He's having surgery tomorrow. That's a 8 to 10 week type injury. And Harry Newman has got a sort of 10 to 12 week hamstring injury.
How big a blow naturally is that, given the injury issues you've already got with other players?
Oh, it is what it is. And it's a combat sport. Both of those, all three of those injuries really were players in real awkward positions that you can't practice or account for. And people are competing in the contact, that's where those injuries have come from. So it's just the nature of our sport. We've got a few others that are on their way back, this week, and also in the coming weeks, we'll get some more troops, but that's why we have a squad, is to deal with situations like this. And it's an opportunity for us to get other people up, some game time and make our squad competitive, and those experiences that guys get in the next few weeks and months will help us as a club going forward.
In terms of who's come in, I think you said after the Saints game that Blake Austin, you didn't expect him to be available. He's obviously been named in the 21. Is he a chance now?
Yeah, he is a chance. He's a quick healer. He didn't feel like he was, I didn't think he was going to be a chance, but he's run well early in the week and he's completed some training today. So we'll see how he is tomorrow, and then, make a calculated decision there. We're certainly not going to play anyone and put him at risk to bring anyone back too soon. But he's definitely a chance.
Is James Bentley a similar situation, or is he fresher?
James is, he's close. He's close as well. He needs to get through some more stuff tomorrow, but he was totally fine from the head knock, but he's had his wisdom teeth removed, and there was a few complications around that afterwards. And he also sustained a really minor knee injury during the the incident at Wigan. So he's close, and he's got through most of training today. So we'll see.
A bit of the better news this week was James McDonald's ban being overturned. What's your take on that situation as a whole? Is it a sense of sort of common sense prevailing in the end, do you think?
At the time, I thought James's reaction was that of surprise. So straight away, I thought, but there was so much going on there in that incident that on video and on replays, it was impossible to see foul play, and the video ref commented on that at the time. So I think those sort of situations are, ideally they're put on report and investigated later, but that in the end, we're glad that we got a good hearing, and they went through the process there, and a positive outcome was reached for us.
Before that red card, certainly for most of that game, again, he sort of showed that combative performance we've come to know him. How impressed have you been with the way he's progressed this season, James?
Yeah, very impressed. I think he played maybe 4 or 5 games at Wigan, and never 2 in a row before he came this year. And he had a really good preseason, but then just a couple of little disruptions at the back end of the preseason sort of cost him a chance to play those opening rounds. He had to wait his turn, and when he did, he's taken his opportunity. He's got plenty to work on, and plenty more to come out of him. But as you said, I love his competitiveness and combativeness. He's a tough guy coming through that Wigan program. They breed plenty of tough, competitive players, and I saw that in James, and he's a humble competitor. And improving from week to week. He's a terrific young bloke. He's got more in him, and he's got some things to work on, but we're glad with his progress.
Alfie Edgell is an inclusion in U21 for the first time. Can you give us a bit of background on him as a player, what he's like?
Alfie's a terrific young kid. He's had an excellent pre-season. I think he missed maybe 5 minutes of one training session in the preseason. He's done everything, competes well. He's a fullback or a 6 is where we see him. He's a good ball runner, competitive, tough, like many of our kids that have come out of that academy program. He's got those attributes that we want to see. He's a good team guy, but he's tough, competes hard, and working on his game every day. He's a terrific young man.
Last couple from me, just on Castleford then, what are you expecting them to throw at you on Saturday?
Everything they've got, which, we expect every week, is a hard contest. 2 teams that are desperately looking for a good performance and a result. So we're looking forward to that competition.
They've had a few sort of ins and outs since that game back in March. How much can you really sort of take from that in terms of learnings?
Every game's a practice for the next game. So we saw what they're good at that day, but totally different time of the season, different weather conditions, playing in the mud on a small pitch, and we let ourselves down in certain areas that day, but there's been a lot of water under the bridge between then and now. Each game is its own, and we respect what they've been doing under a new coach. They've changed how they do some things, and they'll be looking to bring their best as we will.
Zane Tetevano isn't in the squad. He's completed his ban. What's the situation there?
Zane had a health concern a week or 2 ago. So we're awaiting sort of results from a specialist and some further advice there. It's kind of it's one of those sort of private matter type situations, that one, and he'll be out indefinitely until we sort of provide an update there.
How is he? I mean, obviously, without going into details, that sounds worrying. Is he okay?
Yeah, he's in good spirits and in good general health. His professional sort of sporting training and gameplay is obviously that's the part that he can't do at the moment, but his general health is positive.
How were the walking wounded from last week? There were various people carrying bumps and bruises and hobbling around at the end of the game, as you'd expect after 90 minutes. Is there anyone else in doubt that that's included in the squad?
There's been a few on lighter duties, but they're in practice, but they've all recovered seemingly pretty good. We'll do one last check tomorrow, but we think that that everyone will have come through pretty well.
It'd be obviously a big lift if Austin made it, wouldn't it?
Of course, you want your first choice players to be available wherever they can. So if he's pulled up well from today, then he'll be a good chance to play.
Potentially, you could have a couple of debutants. Would you have any concerns about throwing them into that sort of atmosphere, a big event, a big stadium like that, a derby against Castleford?
No, everyone's got to play at some stage. And sometimes that's the best situation to go in a big game and a big occasion. If it is their turn, then they'll have plenty of other players around them to support them. And those kids have worked hard, and it's only a matter of time before they play. So sometimes your hand is forced, and sometimes that can unveil a player and build your squad.
Do you feel you owe Cass one from what happened a few months ago?
Well, we wish we played better that night, but as far as it's about this game, and we want to play well. I know some people look at that. Some of the players probably do as well. They feel like they might owe Cass one, but for me, it's about this game, and we want to play well and get a good result.
And just on Magic Weekend, are you a fan? Obviously, its future's a little bit uncertain at the moment. Would you like to see the concept continue?
Well, I love footy, and I can watch game after game after game. So the concept of having 3 big games back to back, and then the next day coming back for 3 more big games, or watching it on TV, whether it's live or TV, I love that concept for me personally. I think for the game, it's great to take it to a city that's not a traditional rugby league place and growing the game that way. The NRL have followed, the concept and had great success with that. So, if it's up to me and there's plenty of footy on in one place back to back, and every game being on TV is a great thing for our sport, I believe. But I'm not privy to all the decision-making process that goes around concepts like this. But for me, I think it's great.
I just got one question for you. There's been reports that you are talking to Lachlan Fitzgibbon, I believe his name is, from Newcastle Knights. Is there anything you can say on that?
No, I'll provide recruitment updates when there's an update.
It's an ongoing process, isn't it?
It is an ongoing process daily.
Wanted to ask you on Jared O'Connor and how impressed you've been of the way he's had to stand up this season with what's happened. I think he's been ever present this season so far.
Jared's done well. He had a terrific back end of last season in an opportunity he probably didn't ever expect in that position. And he's evolved. He's a terrific kid, still learning. He's still very, very young in his dummy half craft. Like most players in their early 20s that have played, that are playing hooker at this level have been a hooker for 10, 15 years of their life. So for Jared to have been, just under 12 months really that he's been working at that, it's commendable to him. He's a good young bloke, and he'll end up being a real leader of our team in time. But at the moment, he's doing he's leading through his work ethic and his appetite for improvement.
And just quickly on Annie McDonald, are you getting? He's another player that's impressed. Are you getting everything out of him that you thought you would when you signed him from Leeds?
Yeah, I think there's a lot more in than yet. But he's a great ball runner. He's an athletic kid, and he's done okay. He's had some big plays, but I think there's more in NA as we go, and I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Has he pulled through okay? Because I think he was another one that had a potential now, because I think he's been included in the squad. Is he all right?
Yeah, one of the many last week that had a bump pretty early in the game too, but he got through it, and he's had a bit of a lighter early in the week, but he's moving well today, so he'll be right.